Joseph Blair, our new head coach. JB.
Okay, coach.
Christos Kalanit.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Congratulations, first of all, your new chapter.
Thank you.
And first of all, can you take us through into the process and the talks between you and the team? How fast can the whole negotiation process was for you?
It was, in basketball terms, long and short are all very relative when it comes to talks for a job. So I would say it was long yet short. Once the decision was made and the job was offered, it was a no-brainer for me. I knew I wanted to come back here and have this opportunity to be head coach in the Valley again, to come back to the Valley and be a part of this organization. It's near and dear to my heart. Number one, the Rockets organization, first and foremost. I'm raised in Houston, grew up watching the Rockets all my childhood, and up through till I went off to college. And the Rockets, have always been my second team, unless I was coaching somewhere else. When I coached somewhere else, my team was the first team. Rockets were second, just because that's where I'm from. And same thing when it comes to the Vipers as well. They've always just been, since I've been here, I've always watched them, watched how they're doing. Actually, I've been very close with the coaches they've had since me. Mahmoud obviously was my assistant. KB, I knew KB from back when I first started here with the Vipers. He was still with the Rockets, and then I coached with him in Minnesota as well. We've been longtime friends as well. So I've always just followed the Vipers because of that. So when this opportunity came, it was an easy answer for me.
What does it mean for you to be being head coach of a G League team, and after such a huge experience as an assistant in the Washington Wizards? What does it mean to you to be a head coach?
My goal is to be an NBA head coach, period. And I think the best way to have the experience to be ready to be an NBA head coach is to be a head coach. And the one thing that the Vipers offers that a lot of other G League teams don't is the autonomy that we have here down in the Valley. We're so far removed from the Rockets organization that I don't have someone constantly over my shoulder. It gives me opportunity to be a leader here in my own right. Not just on the basketball court, but also just in the community, to try to help with everyone around the organization as well. And I take great pride in that. And I feel the responsibility in it, but I take pride in that responsibility, and I hope to thrive in that.
What would you like to carry on from your experience as an assistant in an organization like the Wizards? You would like to carry on your new chapter in Rio Grande?
I think it's just the way in which I relate and deal with the players. That's the biggest thing for me. I pride myself in being able to connect with the players and the people around me and my staff, and that's what I've done. And every stop along the way, I've learned a lot in my 5 years away from the Vipers with different NBA teams. And that's where I think I thrive, is being able to connect with people and bring the best out of them, and not just as basketball players, but as human beings. And that's what I want to do while I'm here.
I have two more questions and I will let you go. The first one is, you had a huge experience overseas, playing overseas through the years. How that kind of experience helped you as a coach right now?
It goes back to what I just said when it talks about connecting with people. The one thing, when I went overseas to play, and I tell players this all the time, there was no internet. We were not going to be doing this type of interview right now. It was just me there. So I learned to be a part of a community and how to establish more community and how to just touch people's lives and change people's lives, and be able to open myself up to be touched and changed by people's lives and the cultures of the communities in which I was in, and being accepting of that. I saw a lot of players, American players in particular, that came overseas and they looked for America wherever they were. They're like, where's the closest McDonald's? Where's the closest KFC? Where's the closest this and that? And I was complete opposite. I was like, okay, teach me how to say this. How do I learn that? Let me go eat there. Show me where that's at. And I don't want to go where the tourists are. Take me where no one else goes. I want to go see all those things. And that's what I pride myself in. And I think it also helped me connect with the people wherever I was. I mean, I look back at my tenure wherever I was. I remember going to do a basketball clinic in Greece. I had a basketball school in Italy for a few years. And it wasn't about me. It was about how can I help that community? And I wasn't even living there anymore. I mean, when I was in Greece, when I was playing with PAOK, I remember going to the basketball clinic that day, and I had someone translate the entire time, but it was something I had already established back in Arizona, where I was doing basketball camps for years. I did free of charge basketball camps in Arizona for 20 years. So why would I not want to bring that where I was in Greece or Italy or anywhere else. And that is one of the biggest things I carry forth, is just understanding that, like, as much as we think we're all different because we're all from different places, we're all so much alike. And everyone, I was saying earlier to somebody, we all want to feel loved and feel relevant. We want to know that we matter. If you can bring those two things out of any person, no matter what they do, especially if they're playing underneath you as a coach, you're gonna find success. Maybe not, may not always translate to wins and losses, but it translates to them growing as people and as players.
And my last question, you touched a little bit speaking about Greece and your stint at PAOK. Is it, you mentioned earlier that your biggest goal is to be a head coach in the NBA, but is it back on your mind to come one day and be a head coach in a Greek team, probably PAOK, in a full circle moment for you?
You know, I'm very blunt and tell you this, like I set the goal as being an NBA, and I need to be more specific when I say that also, a championship winning NBA head coach. And I say that because that is the best league on this planet Earth, and to win at that level means a lot to me. But with all that being said, I have utter and complete faith in God's plan for my life, and I open myself up to wherever God may lead me. If you would ask me this time last year, would I be here? I would have said, I don't know, I doubt it, but here I am. So if you ask me, will I ever be a head coach in Greece? I don't know, I doubt it, but who knows, right? So to be honest about it, I live for today. Today, right now, the thing that's important is how can I start right now creating the best opportunity for this organization to win another championship? That's all that matters to me right now. Then tomorrow, I'll probably have to prioritize building a calendar for the rest of the staff and then adding to my staff. But right now, today is just me being introduced to the team and me trying to do that and build some equity with this community. And that's the biggest thing. And then we'll see where that leads. So if so, I'm coming to hang out with you. We're going to go have some ouzo together.
That's great. Can't wait to see your beard grown through the season.
I've been debating if I'm gonna let it grow back or not. The problem is everyone says I look younger like this, and the older I get, the younger I want to look. So we'll see how it happens.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Hey, Lashard.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. Thank you for inviting me, and congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, Lashard. Appreciate it.
We'll start with the question.
Yeah,
Ready.
yeah, sure. I had a couple of questions. I wanted to start off with, of course, you know better than anybody when it comes to the relationship between the Vipers and the Rockets over the years, and how integral a part of the Vipers have been for player development for the Rockets. Can you talk a little bit about that, and also talk about my second question would be, how much has the G League changed since when you first started to now, where it seems like it's a huge part of NBA, and for players to be able to go down to the G League and get the skills and playing time they need and be able to go back to the NBA and have success?
Well, first of all, when it comes to the relationship with the Rockets, I think that it's always been a big relationship. When it comes to signees, and I'm going to kind of bleed into your next question, how much it's changed. You look at right now, when I first came into this, number one, it was the D League. When I started here, it was not the G League yet. There was no such thing as a two-way contracts, and there was no such thing as Exhibit 10 deals either. So if you look at how that alone has really helped the G League evolve even more, it's raised the talent level and also raised the interest and the availability of players, because a lot of players, because the salaries weren't the way they should be, were just going overseas because they didn't want to risk not making good money that year. Now the money's actually decent enough where guys can stay here and have a living wage in what they're doing. So I think it's going to continue to grow and expand and evolve into something greater. And even back then, not every NBA team had a team. Now every single NBA team has a team. So you can see just on that level how much they're valuing what this league is bringing to that league and what it's bringing to those individual teams as well. The development aspect and the opportunity to get some of your players that may not get the amount of playing time, or even when it comes to return to play protocol, you want to send them down where they get a chance to play, they get a chance to practice, whatever it might be, and a little bit more of a controlled situation for them as well. So it's like, I think they go hand in hand, quite frankly, with the G League and the NBA, and I think it's going to continue to be that way. It is this kind of stepping stone, almost a rite of passage in some ways for some of the players in particularly. But I do know that after being around this league for so long and then being on the NBA, looking at the G League and how much we value that as an organization with each one of the organizations I've been with, I think it's only going to continue to get more and more powerful, more and more important and crucial, and a bigger priority to each one of the teams and the NBA as a whole.
And one more question, as far as how do you balance having players come down from the Rockets to the Vipers, and at one point you have to be able to continue to play development of that player, but you also, it's about wins and losses as well for your team. How do you balance those two things?
Very delicately. It's obviously a challenge, and I think that we're all individuals, right? And each one of those players that come is an individual, so you handle it all in a different way. Some understand, some you need have a little bit more communication with, and that goes on both sides, not just for the assignees, but also the players that are here, that are regular, just under G League contracts. You can imagine the way they perceive when a guy is sent down or assigned, whether it be a two-way or just a straight up assignee player. They look at it a certain way too. So it's a kind of case by case basis. But as a coach, my job is to be as consistent as possible as a person and as a coach, and to treat each person with the same amount of respect, whether they're an assignee, a two-way player, an exhibit player, or under a G League contract. Like I'm going to love them the same, give them the same amount of attention, give them the same amount of praise, and give them the same amount of discipline and criticism. My goal is to help bring out the best in each one of those players, regardless of that, and try to control that as much as I can. So that's just the way I look at it. For me, it's obviously there's a understanding that each is a case by case basis, but in the end, it's on me just to be as consistent as possible as I can be as a person and as a coach.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it, and good luck on the upcoming season.
Thank you. God bless.
Do you guys have any more questions? No? Okay, Christos, Lashard, it was so good seeing y'all. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.